we're officially launching an initial pilot of a groundbreaking new weapons detection technology.
That's the mayor of New York City on Friday, introducing an innovative solution to tackling crime in the city's subway system. No, it's not this guy, it's this guy. A high-tech weapons detector known as the Evolv Express.
We will be deploying electromagnetic detection system at select subway stations over the next month. Many New Yorkers will be familiar with this type of technology. It's not new. It's being used in big cities across the country.
Now, showing off a souped-up metal detector might not sound like the flex that you think it is at first. Kind of like bragging that you just got the fastest fax machine in the office. For one thing, this isn't quite a place your wallet in this dirty bowl first metal detector that you know and love passing through. It's a security system made by a company called Evolv that forgot the E at the end, and they say it uses artificial intelligence to scan people for weapons specifically, distinguishing between, say, a Bowie knife and your damn keys.
To be able to detect if someone is carrying a gun and where that gun is located on that person's body.
This company says that they have hundreds of clients using their technologies, including baseball stadiums, theme parks, schools, and casinos. The types of places that everyday Americans gather and, well, in a country with more guns than people, can fall victim to gun violence. In fact, last year, Evolv even put out their own report on gun violence in America, a survey on Americans' anxiety. And out of about 2,000 of us, nearly 3 in 10 of these Americans said they've been somewhere where someone unexpectedly opened fire with a gun, and 88% believe their chances of encountering an active shooter have gone up recently. Of course, as Evolv notes on its own page to download this report does not offer a solution, but they are happy to sell you one. And New York City is no stranger to rolling by the Micro Center to see how many RoboCops they've got in stock. Last year, the NYPD re-enlisted their robotic Digidog into active service for help in fun circumstances, like
in hostage negotiations, counterterrorism incidents, and other situations as needed.
And I say re-enlisted because the NYPD actually had one of these things before, but ultimately sent it off to an early retirement in 2011 following criticism for deploying this thing into a public housing building. Also last year, your Daily News Refresh, please subscribe, told you about this autonomous security robot the NYPD tested out at the Times Square subway station. It had a button on top to summon the cops, a real-time video feed that went to the police, and it even got paired up with its own human partner. And even though it might have been fun to pretend to push this 400-pound machine onto the subway tracks, this robot pair was only part of a pilot program. And as the New York Times reported back in February, the pilot's over. And they last spotted the thing gathering dust inside of an empty store like an Apple Vision Pro. Now the rollout of this weapons detection tech follows several high-profile incidents in the city's subway system, including shootings and people being pushed onto the train tracks. Though the Associated Press does note that violent crime in the subway is actually pretty rare. And police data finds that subway crime is down 8% compared to last year.
But people that's been living here in New York know how to avoid all of that.
Yeah, that's the other thing. As observed by this transit rider, who tries to make it very clear she's not packing, entrances to subway stations are spread out over several blocks.
Now let's say if I had something, which I don't, and I came downstairs and seen this, I'm gonna go around the corner to the other station and come down and catch the train and bypass it. Do you have one set up at the other train station? No.
When you consider that New York City's subway has a daily ridership of, 3.6 million people, even though this tech claims it can scan 3,600 people per hour, the city has 472 stations with multiple entry points, including Fulton Station, where Mayor Adams showed this off. A place that is already confusing enough to navigate and used to have an express Chick-fil-A kiosk at the basement level that they got rid of at this exact same spot that they're testing out this tech. And even though gun scanners might be useful, they don't taste good in Polynesian sauce.
They wasting their money because you're not going to catch the person. They know where to hide their weapons, and this machine can't pick it up. Remember, it's a machine. It would break down, malfunction too.
Oh yeah, it's also worth mentioning that these Evolv weapons detectors don't always detect weapons. Last year, Education Week reported on a New York school district that spent millions of bucks on Evolv tech, only for it to miss a gun and a knife in another incident that a high school student ended up using to stab someone. A security expert told the BBC that there's an epidemic in schools of buying new technology based on audacious marketing claims, only then finding out it has hidden flaws, often millions of dollars later. Oh, Evolv is also facing multiple lawsuits, including a class action suit by its investors over false and misleading statements because Evolv does not reliably detect guns or knives. On a misinformation press release, the company disputes claims that it promises to catch all weapons and thinks short sellers are trying to discredit the company. These scanners will be rolled out as part of a 30-day trial, as it's just experimental right now and the city has not entered into a contract with Evolv. Though the Associated Press reports civil liberties groups like the ACLU will sue the city if the tech is rolled out widely. And hey, speaking of lawsuits, why not subscribe to @The News Refresh on YouTube, where we cover all sorts of weird and interesting news stories each and every day. Like this one about a chicken lawsuit that went all the way to the Supreme Court of Ohio, which just ruled that boneless wings are allowed to contain bones. Wow, justice really is blind.